Hey, hey, and welcome back to Miss Kitty's Wild West Adventures. On November 7th, 1908, a small adobe house in San Vicente, Bolivia was surrounded by soldiers. Inside, two wounded American bandits were out of bullets and out of time. Hours of gunfire echoed through the night until two final shots rang out. Folks would later say it was the end of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. But as with most Wild West legends, that's only where the story begins. Today, we're riding backwards through time to meet two of the most famous outlaws in Western history, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the charming, the clever, and sometimes the downright lucky. Before they became legends, they were just Robert and Harry. Robert Leroy Parker was born in Beaver, Utah Territory in 1866, the first of 13 kids. Whew, now that's a lot of mouths to feed, so it's no wonder he ran off as a teenager to work on a dairy ranch. That's where he met a cattle thief named Mike Cassidy, a man who showed young Robert that not all fortunes came honestly. Later, Robert worked for a butcher in Rock Springs, Wyoming, where folks started calling him Butcher Bob. But Butch Cassidy had a better ring to it, a mix of beef and banditry, you might say. His first run-in with the law? He broke into a closed clothing store, took a pair of jeans and a pie, and left an IOU, promising to pay next time. I mean, bless his heart, crime with courtesy. Butch's first bank job came in 1889 in Telluride, Colorado. He and his partners rode off with $21,000. Whew! The legend was born. They holed up in a place called Robber's Roost out in Utah Territory, a name that doesn't exactly scream, "We're innocent, officer!" In 1890, Butch even tried going straight. Even bought himself a ranch in Wyoming. Trouble is, the ranch never made much money, and folks whispered it was a front for other businesses. Maybe the cattle were just really good at carrying saddlebags full of stolen money. In 1894, Butch fell for Ann Bassett, a rancher's daughter, and then briefly for her younger sister, Josie. Yeah, even for the Wild West, that's more tangled than The Young and the Restless. That same year, he got caught stealing horses and spent 18 months behind bars. When he got out, he wasn't exactly reformed, more like refreshed. He started gathering a crew that would soon make headlines across the West, the Wild Bunch. The gang wasn't just a pack of desperados. They were organized, polite, even photogenic. They robbed banks and trains from Idaho to Wyoming, pulling off some of the biggest heists the territory had ever seen. If you were part of the Wild Bunch, what nickname do you think you'd earn? Drop it in the comments. I'm taking bets somewhere out there is going to be Quick Draw Kathy. Enter the Sundance Kid, Harry Alonzo Lungabaugh. Better known as the Sundance Kid, was born in Pennsylvania in 1867. He headed west as a teenager, working as a wrangler in Colorado and Montana, until one day he borrowed a horse, a saddle, and a gun near Sundance, Wyoming. The law called it a theft. Harry called it a misunderstanding. After 18 months in jail, he walked out with a new name, the Sundance Kid. He was quiet, deadly accurate with a gun, and loyal to a fault. The perfect complement to Butch's charisma. Together, they were like thunder and lightning. By 1900, their faces were plastered on wanted posters from Texas to Montana. And just before they left the States, they did something most criminals wouldn't dare. They posed for a photo. That Fort Worth 5 photograph became one of the most famous images in outlaw history, and ironically, their undoing. The Pinkerton detectives used it to hunt them down. So Butch and Sundance decided to take their show on the road all the way to South America. They boarded a steamer for Buenos Aires in 1901, along with Sundance's companion, Etta Place, Butch traveling under the name James Ryan, Etta's brother. Ain't that as subtle as a rattlesnake in a church pew? For a while, they went straight, bought land, raised cattle and sheep, but before long, old habits came a-callin'. Banks started losing money again, and two English-speaking robbers were always just a few miles ahead of the law. By 1906, Etta went back to the States. Maybe tired of running, maybe tired of the bandits. Butch and Sundance tried to settle down too, guarding company payrolls of all things. Like a couple of foxes guarding the henhouse, if you ask me. What could possibly go wrong? The last straw came on November 3rd, 1908, when a payroll courier was robbed by two masked Americans. 3 days later, soldiers tracked the Americans to a rental house in San Vicente. There, shots rang out between the Bolivian authorities and the two bandits. By 2 a.m., the neighborhood fell quiet and the smoke cleared. The two men inside were dead, one with a bullet to the forehead, the other to the temple. Bolivian authorities decided that the robbers had turned their guns on themselves. Even in the end, the law didn't get them. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid died the way they lived, on their own terms. Or at least, that's what the story says. What do you think? Did the legend really end in Bolivia? Or did these two ride off into history under new names? We'll saddle up that mystery in part 2. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Miss Kitty's Wild West Adventures. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ding the bell for notifications. And in the meantime, I'll catch you on down the trail.